Hello and welcome to Mission Backlog. I've got a new video idea, so I thought I'd just do a quick intro to it to explain what's going on. So the idea is called, I forgot what it's called already. It's called Backlog Blast. That's the name a very creative name I've come up with for this new video idea. So the idea is fairly simply, I play 3 games that are on my backlog, but games that I've started, so games I've played in the past, fallen off for some reason, and they're just sat on my kind of list of played games that aren't finished. And the idea is that I play these 3 games only for 7 days, and I do as much as I can in these 3 games in 7 days. Whether that be to just beat the stories in one of them and grab a couple of achievements in the other, or 100% them all, whatever I can get done in that week. Is effectively the challenge. The reason I want to do this is basically it's been going really well with the backlog playlist. I'm actually sticking with games, beating games, making my way through my backlog, but my old habits, I can feel them starting to creep in where I just get distracted by shiny new games and I want to go off and just start playing random games, and that's what got me into this mess in the first place of having hundreds of games on the backlog. So I thought I can allow myself to do that, but in a bit more of a constructive way, and go off and play lots of new games that I have already started and that I want to clean up. So 3 games in a week, and then once I've done that, I'll go back to playing my backlog playlist games. So I'm currently playing through Spider-Man, really enjoying it, but I've just got that inkling to go off and just play a few random games. So that's the idea behind this. So the 3 games in this one, I've gone through my list, looking through my achievements at games I've played and ones I'd like to go back to. The first one is Titanfall 2, one of my favourite games on the Xbox One. So I have beat this, and I've played a lot of time in multiplayer, but there's a lot, I want to play it again because it's such a good game, and there's a lot of achievements that I didn't get. So I'm not a completionist, but I do a bit of achievement hunting. So I'd like to go back and just clean up some of the achievements. And if I have the time, I'd like to play through it on the hardest difficulty, because I only ever did it on regular. So that's the first one. I don't have physical copies of the other 2, but I'll put something up so you can see them. But the other one is Maneater. So this is where you play as I think it's a great white shark, but you play as a shark and you evolve, and it's just complete gaming nonsense. The kind of AA gaming genius, basically. There's not got much depth. You don't run, you swim around chomping people and other larger fish and sharks and things. It's one I played for the first few hours just to see what it's like. Fell off. I'd like to go back and just chip away at it, complete the story if I have time. And finally is a little indie game that I started years and years and years ago. I played it originally on Xbox One. It can't be 10 years, but it's a lot of years since I started this game, and that is Valiant Hearts. So it's a lovely little, I'm going from memory here, but I think it's World War II. I'm pretty sure it's World War II, maybe even World War One. It's one of the world wars, and it's a little, well, you'll see gameplay when I start playing through it, but it's a little side-scrolling historical kind of action platformer indie game that has a lot of charm and character to it, and I did enjoy my time with it. And it's one of those you just fall off and just never get around to going back to it. And as I was strolling through all my achievements, I just saw and I was like, oh, that game, let's go back and finish that off, why not? So again, the idea is to try and complete the story if I can. Now, I don't think I'm going to be able to play through all 3 of these games campaigns in a week. I just don't think I'm going to have the time to do that, but we'll see what happens. If I just chip away at a few more achievements, a few more levels on each of them, and just kind of make a bit of progress, that's fine, and hopefully it will get the playing random games out of my system, and then I can crack back on with the kind of the base backlog player series. And if this is successful and it makes a reasonable video, I'll do more of them. Every now and again I'll do another backlog blast. So anyway, without further ado, I'm gonna kind of get stuck in now. I've got all the 3 games reinstalled on the Xbox, and I've got 7 days, so we'll get started.
So, I started on a Friday, so that meant I had until the following Thursday evening to complete as much of the games as I could and unlock as many achievements as I could. I figured the easiest game to start with would be Valiant Hearts, thinking it would be a very quick completion. I was, however, to find out that the game drags on a little too long for my liking. Anyway, energised and eager to get cracking, I booted up the game. And the problem with not playing a game for 7 years is you completely forget how to play the game and what you're supposed to be doing. So it did take a little while to simply remember the controls, which was to become a bit of a theme. My only real goal for Valiant Hearts was to beat the story. So I started making my way through, enjoying the visuals, the setting and the puzzle gameplay as I went. I unlocked a haul of achievements in this first session, which I was pretty pleased with, and these included A Glimmer of Hope for rescuing Carl from underneath the Zeppelin, which is a story-related achievement. Knowledge is Power for reading 30 historical facts, it's just a collectible achievement. To Those Who Fell for finding 50 historical items, again a collectible achievement. Ceasefire to finish the Douaumont Fort mission, which is a story one. And Helpful Laundryman, which is actually a missable achievement I got completely by accident, and that's for pulling these 3 laundry bags off a shelf. So yeah, again, that was just completely by accident, but a happy accident. So feeling fairly accomplished with this bag of achievements, I decided to dive into Maneater that same night, where again my goal for the week, if time allowed, was to just finish the main story. It was great that this game is so different to Valiant Hearts, as it kept things fresh and interesting, and there's a bit of quite a contrast between the two. Again, I started by just getting used to the game and cleared up one of the earlier locations to get back to grips with the combat. Once I felt I had my combat chops back, I progressed through the story a bit more, taking out another hunter and completing some predator hunts as well. So the hunters are humans who come after you after kind of reaching certain milestones of destruction. If you kind of take out too many human swimmers and things, they'll start coming after you. And the predator hunts are various special predators, as you might guess, in each region of the map that you have to take down. So this could be kind of alligators or sharks or other big fish. It was great to be back in this world, and refreshing to be playing a game that doesn't take itself too seriously and knows exactly what it is, which is an incredibly fun, hilarious shark game. Nothing more, nothing less. I only unlocked one achievement on Friday, which was On Your Own, and that was for becoming an adult. So you grow your shark from junior all the way through to elder through your playthrough. So this was just simply a story progression achievement. So not a bad start on Friday all in all. So it was 2 games played, 6 achievements and 300 gamer score. Right, so on Saturday I decided to jump back into Titanfall 2 to get all 3 games on the go. I love this game, and it was exhilarating to be back wall running and controlling BT again. As I said in the intro, I would like to play through the campaign again on the hardest difficulty, though that was going to be pushing it time-wise, beating 3 games in 1 week. Though admittedly, they're all fairly short games. I thought I'd start by clearing up some of the random story achievements, which included Pied Piper and Robot Army achievements, and these were both on the same level for getting stalkers, which are kind of like helper robots to follow you, which is fairly simple to do. But this achievement didn't pop the first time, annoyingly, so I had to redo it. Luckily it worked the second time, and it was only a kind of a few minutes to run through again. I was panicking for a little while. Next up was You Can Be My Wingman Anytime, which was for destroying an enemy Titan as a pilot in the campaign. So destroying a Titan on foot, so without your own Titan, which I thought was going to be quite difficult, but it ended up being ridiculously easy once I looked up a solution and found out that there's actually a Titan, just an inactive one, just sat in a warehouse, that if you take out, that counts for the achievement. So that's what I did. Next up we had Annihilation, which is for killing 25 infantry in 2 seconds as a Titan in the campaign. Again, I wasn't sure where to go for this, so I looked at the solution, and as you see, I've got some footage. I think it was ridiculously easy. And if anyone's wondering, I use True Achievements, which is a website which I think is the best site for achievement hunters. It's full of solutions and tips and tricks and things, and they've also got true trophies for PlayStation players as well. Once I'd mocked up these miscellaneous achievements, I started, I went back to the playthrough of the campaign, so I played through the 3rd chapter of the game on master difficulty, having already done the first 2 chapters kind of previously. Though don't tell anyone. I actually cheated a little bit here. So there is a glitch that if when you die, you don't kind of instantly click respawn, but instead switch the difficulty to easy and then just leave it and wait for it to auto spawn you. You can then play through the rest of the level on easy and it will count as master. So crazy, I know. I'm surprised it hasn't been patched out, but I can confirm that it works. Well, currently anyway. I did think about whether or not to use it, though really my only goal was to play through the campaign again just because I love it. I'm not too fussed about punishing myself on the difficulty wise. I just wanted to play through the campaign again, as I love the level design, the story and the combat. And kind of reading about it, I've also seen that apparently master difficulty changes it up a lot, kind of reducing the free-flowing combat, which is what the game is kind of designed to be, and it turns it into kind of more of a cover shooter, which I think, given the game, takes a lot away from it. If you can't kind of do those wall running and all that free-flowing combat, then it's not really Titanfall anymore, is it? So I picked up the collectibles as I went, again using a guide on true achievements, and that was it for Saturday. So random story achievements cleared up for Titanfall 2, which left just the hard run, which I'm glitching, collectibles and the legendary gauntlet achievement left for 100%. So on Saturday, that was 1 game played, 4 achievements and 60 gamer score. So not staggering, but good to get back into Titanfall 2 and clearing up achievements that have been sat there for years. So it was still pretty satisfying. So, Sunday arrived, and I was keen. I had a bit of time, and I decided I was going to beat Valiant Hearts. Which I did, but boy did it drag on. I think if this game were a couple of hours shorter, it would really help. Maybe that's just me, but it did drag on quite a bit. I love the art design, and the historical context covering some of the events of World War I is really interesting, and following a few characters to gain a perspective of what it was like to live through those brutal times is great as well. It's a moving game and did really make me appreciate what all of those people did for us. But having said that, as a game, the gameplay doesn't vary that much throughout, and I was definitely ready for it to be over by the end. So along the way, on Sunday, I unlocked the achievements Brother's Keeper. So this is for saving your entire platoon during the Battle of the Somme. So this is missable, and I knew that. I wasn't too fussed about getting for it, but I knew it was there, so I just tried to get it, and I got it. It wasn't that difficult. You just have to be a bit careful and take your time. And then the rest of them are all story-related achievements, which I'll just pop up now. I won't bother going through them all. But yeah, I kept popping them until we got to the end of the game and finished the story. So I did have some achievements left, some random missable ones and collectibles, which would mean playing through basically the whole game again, which there is no way I'm doing. So I'm happy with beating the story and my 385 gamer score in this one. So that's Valiant Hearts done, 7 years after starting it, which yeah, all in all I'm pretty chuffed with. This game had a brutally sad ending as well, which I won't spoil, but if you decide to play this game, just know you'll probably come out of it feeling a little down. But what better way is there to pick the mood back up than playing as a mutated killer shark who eats ships for breakfast? So I hopped onto Maneater for an hour or so Sunday evening, just to make some progress and pick my mood back up, and picked up some achievements along the way. So both of them were kind of for defeating apex predators. One gator meat for defeating the apex alligator, and one shark on shark violence for defeating the mako shark. So those were both quite fun going for as well. But that was it for Sunday. Quite a good session. 2 games played, 1 game beaten, 7 achievements and 250 gamer score. So all going pretty well so far. On to Monday, which is an easy one. I didn't spend any time at all gaming on Monday. So quickly on to Tuesday. So I realised by this stage that I wasn't going to be able to beat both Maneater and Titanfall 2 in the 7-day time frame. So I made the decision to focus entirely on Maneater, being as it is a game I've never beaten before and I have beaten Titanfall 2 before. So Tuesday meant diving headfirst into the story to try and grind this game out before the end of Thursday. Turns out I got into a bit of a rhythm on Tuesday, completing objectives and moving through areas a lot quicker than I had been before. I realised the main story actually isn't that long at all, and put in a solid gaming block in the evening and ended up beating the game that night. I really would recommend this game to all but the most serious of people. It's balls to the walls fun, and it doesn't outstay its welcome at all. The areas you unlock through the course of the game are very varied, and new enemies are presented to you regularly right until the end of the game. You even end up fighting sperm whales and orcas by the end of it. So I unlocked, as you'd imagine, quite a large haul of achievements on Tuesday. I won't go through them all, but here they all are. So, to sum up Tuesday, 1 game played, just Maneater, 1 game beaten, Maneater, 11 achievements, and a decent haul of 430 gamer score. So we're nearing the end of the challenge now. We're at Wednesday. I did have a think about diving into Titanfall again, though by this stage I knew I wasn't going to be able to play on Thursday just because of work commitments, so decided to work towards the 100% on Maneater and start clearing up the many collectibles in the game. As you can probably tell, I was enjoying my time with Maneater, so kind of was on a roll and just decided to stick with it. So working my way through each area one by one, collecting all the collectibles and things, I was slowly picking them off. I managed to clear 3 of the 7 or so areas, which each came with its own achievement, which is very nice. And also reached Infamy level 10, which is definitely probably the grindiest achievement in the game. And this is for basically repeatedly taking down hunters, and it took me around an hour just to get up the last kind of 2 or 3 levels which I needed. It was pretty easy, it wasn't too challenging at all, just took a bit of time. I had a fully leveled up shark by this stage, so they didn't really pose much threat to me, and I just threw on a podcast and chilled out for a while doing it. So yeah, just grinded away at the achievements. So on Wednesday, 1 game played, Maneater, 4 achievements, and 130 gamer score. So, as I said earlier, I couldn't play on Thursday, so this was effectively the end of my first Backlog blast. It's not as flashy as some of these 30 platinums in 30 days, though I really enjoyed having a more targeted approach, and I am pretty pleased with the results. So if we do a total recap, so 3 games played, 2 story campaigns beaten, 32 achievements, 1,170 gamer score, and 1 game beaten that's been unfinished since 2015. So it's the end of the challenge window, but this has definitely inspired me to 100% Maneater, and if I can, Titanfall 2. I think I've only got about, 3 to 4 hours left to finish Maneater, so that's easy, just a case of grinding it out. And Titanfall 2 is just the campaign playthrough and the Gauntlet challenge, which I know will be a challenge, but one that I'm capable of doing if I commit. So for those that don't know, the Gauntlet challenge is similar to the original kind of Modern Warfare's Mile High Club achievement. You've just got to go really quickly through a training simulation thing, taking out enemies, but you've basically got to be perfect on all of your shots and all of your mantling and things. So I'm not a completionist, as you can probably tell, though I do get the itch now and again to chase some achievements and completion, so this was a really nice way to relieve that itch, and I think it's a format that works quite well, keeping it just to a week-long window, and then I can now go back to kind of working on the reviews and things that I'm doing in the Backlog playlist. So thanks for watching this far. I hope you enjoyed the video. Do let me know in the comments what you thought. And if you would like to see another Backlog Blast video, I'd be happy to make one if people think that it's a good format. A like on the video would also be really appreciated. So I hope you have a great day. Now on to the next one.